Good morning, my beautiful friends. This is your wake up call with Maui Paul. I am Maui Paul, and we are here today to say some beautiful, wonderful things about ourselves. Happy New Year! It is the very first wake up call of the new year. So I just want to wish you guys a very happy new year. New year means new beginnings for a lot of people. And of course, the theme of this show is I am. And so we're going to go through an I am statement from my I am deck. Now, this deck is just full of positive affirmations that we can use to basically reroute our internal dialogue. So many people have a negative internal self-talk, and we are here to basically short circuit that and change it to some positive self-talk for our own benefit. And the fact is that this world has all kinds of things to say to us that are not particularly nice. And when I started to get into marketing and advertising, I realized that women are told that they're not pretty enough, and men are told that they're not rich enough. And both sexes are told that if they only were to buy something, they could be pretty enough or rich enough. And this messaging is everywhere. It's prolific in our world. And so essentially what we are going to do today is we are going to go through an I am statement that will help us to think nicer things about ourselves. So we're going to begin by pulling a card off of the top of my deck. I'm going to go through that affirmation with us today. We're going to say it out loud. We're going to write it down in the chat, and we're going to affirm it to ourselves and each other. So let's begin by pulling one off the top and saying that today I am transforming. I am transforming. I have the power to change, learn, and grow. So I am transforming. I have the power to change, learn, and grow. So, are you transforming? You are transforming. You have the power to change, learn, and grow. All right, so I'm going to write that down into the chat right now, and I encourage you to write that down in the chat as well. The fact is that me saying something is one level of belief. So when we hear somebody say something to us, that is one level of belief. And we don't always believe the things that other people say. Sometimes we internalize them, sometimes we do not. But when we write them ourselves, when we say it ourselves, it's true. It becomes our truth. And more importantly than that, it becomes something that we have internalized. We have actually taken that thought and turned it into a vibration inside of ourselves. So I am transforming. You are transforming too. So many people have New Year's resolutions. It's the first of the year, and the date has changed, and there's this sense of newness in the air. And as we go through these New Year's resolutions, how many people make a resolution and make a commitment to being a different person this year, only to fall off that bandwagon so quickly? And the reason that it happens is because we try to do things really, we try to make a lot of change all at once. But transformation doesn't happen all at once. Transformation happens slowly over the course of time. Transformation happens with our actions every day. It's what we do 5 minutes every day. It's not what we do for 6 hours because we get inspired to do it. 6 hours of sustained effort does not make transformation. 5 minutes of effort every single day for the rest of our lives makes transformation. And so as we go through this new year, if we would like to be successful at the things that we have decided to do, the difference that we have purposed to make in our own lives, we must understand that it's our duty to just do something for 5 minutes. Make a tiny change. Make it just the smallest little change. I've used this allegory before, but if you're in a boat and you leave the harbor in New York City and you're crossing the Atlantic Ocean and you want to end up in London, but you are just 1 degree off. By the time you get across the ocean, you're somewhere in Africa. And so it is with our lives as well. It really only takes the smallest, tiniest attitude adjustment in order to completely change the place that we end up. So I am transforming today. You are transforming as well. And we really owe it to ourselves to transform, to become the version of ourselves, the best version of ourselves, the we, the us that we see inside of ourselves when we close our eyes and we imagine what we could be when we imagine that. Because ultimately, and when I look in the mirror today, the me that I am being today is somebody that I wished that I could be 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 20 years ago. If my 20-year-old self could meet my 40-year-old self, my 20-year-old self would be just absolutely shocked at the transformation. But the transformation didn't happen in one day. It happened 1% at a time over 40 years. So let's this is your permission slip to transform today, to just be 5% better, be 1% better, make choices that are just a tiny little bit different. When we make different choices, we get different results, and different results give us different options, and different options permit us to make other different choices. So I want to say thank you guys so very much for coming over here to the wake up call, the very first one of the new year. You guys are awesome. I appreciate you guys for sharing this, and especially in particular, I appreciate when you guys are really affirming each other in the comments. So when I go through the comments on the various social channels that when I go through the comments on the social channels that I broadcast this on, I see you guys are really affirming each other. So when you affirm each other, I feel like my work here is even better, or it is more meaningful, I should say. So thank you so much for being here for the very first wake up call of the year. I am Maui Paul. I do this every single morning at 9 a.m. Right here on social media. So I want to say thank you very much for coming, and aloha from paradise.